This is a comprehensive packet tracer physical mode activity to review previously covered iOS router commands. You will cable the equipment and complete basic configurations and interface settings on the router. Set up the topology and initialize devices. Cable the network as shown in the topology. Drag the Cisco 4321 ISR integrated services router and okay, this is the router for 4321. Okay, and the Cisco 2960 switch. This is the switch, Cisco 2960. And the server. Okay, from the shelf to the rack. Okay, to the rack. Not on the table. Drag PC from shelf to the table. PC down here and drag to the table. On left side on the table, cable the devices as specified in the topology diagram. Use copper straight-through cables. Okay, from gigabit 000 on router to the server. Use a copper straight-through cable. Okay, with copper straight-through cable from gigabit 00 on the router, gigabit 000 on the router to the server, to this fast Ethernet interface. From gigabit 01 on the router to fast Ethernet 5 on the switch. Straight through copper cable, and from gigabit 001 on the router to fast Ethernet 5 on the switch. And from fast Ethernet 6 on the switch to PC. The same cable from fast Ethernet 6 to fast Ethernet on the PC. From PC, connect a console cable to the Cisco 4321 ISR. Okay, and now use a console connection from the PC, from RS-232 port on PC to console port on the router. Now you have this connection. Console connection, power on the Cisco 4321, PCA and server. Okay. Click here to power on the router. Now you can see the green indicator. Power on the server. Okay, now you can see this indicator. And power on the PC. The 2960 switch should power on automatically. The 2960 switch doesn't have a power button, so this connection to the power distribution device is enough. So the switch is power on, and configure devices and verify connectivity. Configure PC interfaces, configure IP address subnet mask and default gateway on PCA, IP address subnet mask, default gateway on server, and use the addressing table to configure this for PCA and this for the server. Okay, this is for PCA, IPv4 and IPv6. So click on PC, desktop IP, and use static to configure 192.168.1.10. Prefix 24 is 255.255.255.0. Default gateway 192.168.1.1. IPv6 with static 2001 DB8 ACAD 1::10 prefix 64. Default gateway FE80::1. Okay, look at this 2001 DB8 ACAD 1::10 prefix 64. Default gateway FE80::1. Okay, this. Okay, very good. And click on the server, desktop IP configuration, static for IPv4, and configure this 192.168.0.10 prefix 24. Default gateway 192.168.0.1. IPv6 use static 2001 DB8 ACAD ::10 prefix 64. Default gateway FE80::1. Okay, be careful, and that's it. And configure the router, console into the router, and enable privilege exit mode. Okay, remember I have the console connection to the router from PC, so click on PC and go to terminal. Okay, and enter. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter and enable privilege exit mode. Enable. Now you are on privilege exit mode. Enter configuration mode. Configure terminal. You are on global configuration mode. Assign a device name to the router. Use their name on the addressing table. R1. Hostname R1. Set the router's domain name as CCNA-lab.com. IP domain -name CCNA-lab.com. Enter. Encrypt the plain text passwords. Service password -encryption. Configure the system to require minimum 12-character password. Security password min length 12. Enter. Configure the username SSH admin with an encrypted password of 55HADM exclamation N 2020. Okay, case sensitive. A username called SSH admin case sensitive. Encrypted password, use secret, and the password is 55HADM exclamation N 2020. Okay, case sensitive. Enter. Generate a set of crypto keys with 1024-bit modulus. Crypto key generate RSA general keys modulus 1024. Enter. Okay, very good. Assign $Cisco exclamation pipe asterisk as the privileged exit password. Okay, this is the enable secret and case sensitive password $Cisco exclamation prime and asterisk. Okay, case sensitive, be careful. Enter. Assign $Cisco exclamation com asterisk as the console password. Line console 0 password $Cisco exclamation com asterisk. Enter. Configure sessions to disconnect after 4 minutes of inactivity and enable logging. Exec dash timeout 4 minutes 0 seconds. Enter. And enable logging. Don't forget that. Logging. Enter. Exit. Assign $Cisco exclamation BTY asterisk as the BTY password. Okay, line BTY 0 to 15. I will use all BTY lines. Enter. And the password will be $Cisco exclamation BTY case sensitive and asterisk. Okay, enter. Configure the BTY lines to accept SSH connections only. Transport input SSH. Configure sessions to disconnect after 4 minutes of inactivity. Okay. Exit timer 4 minutes 0 seconds. Enable logging using the local database. So use login local. Enter to use this username, this local username and password. Okay, then exit. Create a banner that warns anyone accessing the device that unauthorized access is prohibited. Okay, a banner message of the day. Use unauthorized access is prohibited. Enter. Enable IPv6 routing. Okay, IPv6 unicast-routing. Configure all 3 interfaces on the router with the IPv4 and IPv6 addressing information from the addressing table above. Configure all 3 interfaces with descriptions. Activate all 3 interfaces. Okay, so configure these 3 interfaces on the router. Okay, these interfaces are gigabit 000, gigabit 001, and loopback interface gigabit 000. Set a description. Don't forget that it's only a label. You can use any description. So, for example, for gigabit 00, you can say connection to server. Connection to server. Connection to server and IP address, IPv4 address. I use this, all this IPv4 and IPv6. 192.168.0.1. 24 is 255.255.255.0. Enter. IPv6 address 001 DB8 ACAD colon 1 and prefix 64. Okay, be careful. Enter and IPv6 address. The link local address FE80 colon 1 specify is link dash local. Enter and enable the interface. Don't forget that. No shutdown. Enter. Very good. Now configure gigabit 001. Okay, this is the another side, so the description may vary the connection to switch S1. The IP address is 181.168.1.1 prefix 24, and IPv6 address 2001 DB8 ACAD colon 1::1 prefix 64, enter. The same link local address, enter. Enable the interface, no shutdown. Okay, and please don't forget the loopback 0 with these configurations. Interface loopback 0, enter. The description can be description loopback IP address 10.0.0.1 fix 24 to 55 to 55 to 55.0. IPv6 address is 2001 DB8 ACAD 2::1 prefix 64. The same link local address, enter. Okay, and the interface is already up because it's a virtual interface. You don't need the not shutdown command. Okay, and exit. And now the router should not allow VTY logins for 2 minutes if 3 failed login attempts occur within 60 seconds. Okay, use this command login space block dash for 2 minutes is 120 seconds. If 3 failed login attempts occur, attempts 3. If 3 failed login attempts occur within 60 seconds. Within 60 seconds, enter. And now set the clock on the router. Clock set. Request some help using the question mark. Okay, unrecognized command because this should be done on privileged access mode, and you are on, and I am on global configuration mode. So exit and clock set question mark. Hour, minute, second, hour 12 37. Okay, 00 question mark. The day of the month is 9 question mark. The month September. Then the year 2021, enter. Very good. Save the running configuration to the startup configuration file. Copy running-config to startup-config. Enter. Okay. What would be the result of reloading the router prior to completing the copy running config startup config command? Okay, you will lose all your configurations. The contents of the running configuration in RAM would be erased during reload. As the result, the router would boot up without a startup configuration, and the user would be asked if he would like to enter initial configuration dialog. Verify network connectivity using the command line at PCA, ping IPv4 and IPv6 addresses for the server. Okay, go to PC and close terminal, open command prompt, and ping the IPv4 and IPv6 addresses on the server. Ping 192.168.0.10. Success. Ping 2001 DBA ACAD column 10 and success. Were the ping successful? Yes. From PCA remotely access R1 using Telnet SSH client. Using the Telnet SSH client on PCI, open an SSH session to the R1 loopback interface IPv4 address. Okay, and close command prompt, open the Telnet SSH client and select SSH. Okay, because SSH session to the loopback. The loopback of the router is this. And IP address 10.0.0.1. Ensure that the connection type is set to SSH and use SSH admin as the username. Remember, the user configured on the router is SSH admin, case sensitive. Connect. Now the password is this. Remember this password. Okay, be careful. 55HADM exclamation and 2020 enter. Okay, now you are on the router. Was the remote access successful? Yes. Using the Telnet SSH client on PCA, open a SSH session to the R1 loopback interface IPv6 address. Ensure that the connection type is set to SSH. Use the SSH admin as the username and the password. Okay, now the same process, but use IPv6. Okay, exit from the router. Okay, the current session has closed. Do you want to reestablish a new session with the previous session options? No. And SSH, the IPv6 of loopback. Remember this. 001 DB8 ACAD 2 : 1. And the username is SSH admin. Connect. Okay, enter. Try again. No. So I will use another method. Use command prompt. You can use SSH option L. It's not 1, it's L. And the username is SSH admin. And use the IPv6 of loopback 0. Use this. The first 2001 DB8 ACAD column 2 : 1. Enter. Connection timeout. Okay, this is not a configuration issue. This is not a configuration error or problem. This is a packet tracer issue. Okay, so I can reload the router. You can go to terminal, okay, and apply the reload command. And remember that you entered the command copy running config to startup config to save the changes on this router. So you can reload the router with a reload command without losing the configurations, or you can or also you can reload pressing the power on button, power off, and then power on. Okay, this is another way to reload the router. Click on the PC. You are on the terminal, the console connection. Wait a moment. Okay, and close terminal. Open the Telnet SSH client. The host name, the loopback IPv6 address, 2001 DB8 ACAD column 2 column 1, and the username SSH admin case sensitive. Okay, and connect. Now the password is remember 55HADM exclamation and 2020 enter. Okay, very nice. Okay, you are on R1. Was the remote access successful? Yes. Why is the Telnet protocol considered to be a security risk? The Telnet session can be seen in plain text. It is not encrypted. Passwords can easily be seen using a packet sniffer. Okay, and okay, do not exit from R1. Okay, enter. You are on R1 and display the router information. You will use show commands from an SSH session to retrieve information from the router. Establish an SSH session. Okay, use Telnet SSH client on PCA. Use the loopback interface, IPv6 address. Use the username and password. Okay. Okay, this procedure already done. Retrieve important hardware and software information. Use show version. Show version space. Okay. Remember, I am on user exit mode, but show version is working very well on user exit mode. Okay, again, show version space. Okay, and what is the name of the iOS image that the router is running? Up here, this is the name. iOS image ISR 4300 universal k9.03.16.0.5.s.115.3.s5.exe.spi.bin. Okay, bin is the extension. How much non-volatile random access memory (NVRAM) does the router have? Okay, non-volatile configuration memory is this 32,768 kilobytes. Okay, this is about 32 megabytes. Okay. How much flash memory does the router have? Okay, flash memory, this number. Okay, about 3 million kilobytes of flash memory, and this is about 3 gigabytes. Okay, about 3 gigabytes. Show commands often provide multiple screens of outputs. Filtering the output lets you display certain sections of the output. To enable the filtering command, enter a pipe character after a show command, followed by a filtering parameter and a filtering expression. You can match the output of the filtering statement by using the include keyword to display all lines from the output that contain the filtering expression. Filter the show version command using show version pipe include register to answer the following question. What would be the boot process for the router on the next reload if the configuration register was hexadecimal number 2142? Okay, the current session has closed. Do you want to reestablish a new session with the previous session options? Yes. Okay, and remember the password. This password. Okay, it's a nightmare, but this is the password. Okay, 55H ADM exclamation and 2020 enter. Okay, again 55H ADM exclamation and 2020. Okay, very good. Show version again, but use the pipe and include the keyword register. Okay. Enter and look at this. Configuration register is hexadecimal number 2102. Okay. Okay, is a filter. If you will use only show version, space, this is the line that you filtered. Okay, the keyword to register is included on this line. So that's why you will see only that line when you apply the filter. Okay, so the answer is okay. What would be the boot process for the router on the next reload if the configuration register was hexadecimal number 2142? Okay, this is 2102. This is normal register, normal boot. But what happens if you will change this to hexadecimal 2142? In most cases, the configuration register will have a value of hexadecimal 2102, signifying that the router will undergo a normal boot, load the IOS from the flash memory, and load the startup configuration from the NVRAM if present. If the config register is hexadecimal number 2142, the router will bypass the startup config and begin at the user mode command prompt. If the initial boot fails, the router goes into run monitor mode. Okay, run mode. Display the startup configuration, show startup config, you need to access privileged exit mode, use the enable command, and remember the password was the enable password $Cisco exclamation prime asterisk $Cisco exclamation prime asterisk. Case sensitive, very nice. You are on privileged exit mode and do the following. Show startup config, show startup dash config, enter, space. Okay, and how are passwords presented in the output? Okay, passwords are encrypted passwords are encrypted because of the service password encryption command. Okay, passwords are encrypted. Okay, this password and this another password will be encrypted. Also, if you will not use the service password encryption command because both are using the secret keyword that will encrypt the password anyway. Show running config pipe section bty. Okay, show running dash config. Use pipe, and you will filter to only show the section of bty lines. Okay, enter. Now you will see only bty configurations. Okay, this part, remember, but you will see only those lines. What is the result of using this command? This is the result. Okay. A user receives the running config configuration output beginning with the line that includes the first instance of the filtering expression. Display the routing table, show IP routes, what code is using in the routing table to indicate the directly connected network. Okay, C for directly connected network. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 3 directly connected networks, and how many route entries are coded with a C code? Okay, 3. Display a summary list of the interfaces. Show IP interface brief. Show IP interface brief. Enter. What command changed the status of gigabit Ethernet ports from administratively down to up? Okay, gigabit ports are up, loopback interface up, state, status up, and protocol up. And what command changed the status of the gigabit Ethernet ports from administratively down to up? The command is no shutdown. Use show IPv6 interface brief. The same command is IPv6 show IPv6 interface brief. What is the meaning of the up part of the output? Okay. For example, gigabit 000 state up, protocol up. Up status reflects the layer 1 and layer 2 status of the interface and does not rely on layer 3 for status. On server, change its configuration so that it no longer has a static IPv6 address. Then issue the ipconfig command on the server to examine the IPv6 configuration. Okay, click on the server. The server is here. Click here. Go to desktop, IP configuration. Okay, this is the IPv6 configuration and is static. Change this to automatic. And look at this, you received an IPv6 address automatically from router R1. Okay, this is the SLAAC configuration. Okay, the stateless address auto configuration, SLAAC. Okay, and ipconfig on the same server, command prompt, ipconfig. What is the IPv6 address assigned to the server? This is the IPv6 address. Very good. What is the default gateway? This is the link local address of the interface on the router from PCB issue a ping to R1 default gateway. Link local address. Okay, click on the PC. Click close terminal. Okay, close the SSH client. Go to command prompt and ping the link local address of gigabit 001. This FE80:1. FE80:1. Success. Was the ping successful? Yes. Yes. From server issue a ping to the R1 IPv6 unicast address 2001 DB8 AC80:1. Okay, click on the server and ping to this IP address. The IP address of gigabit 000 on router R1. Okay, click on the server 2001 DB8 AC80:1. Success. Was it successful? Yes, absolutely. In researching a network connectivity issue, a technician suspects that an interface was not enabled. What show command could the technician use to troubleshoot this issue? The technician can use show IP interface brief, or show interfaces, or show startup config to provide the information. In researching a network connectivity issue, a technician suspects that an interface was assigned an incorrect subnet mask. What show command could the technician use to troubleshoot this issue? The technician can use show startup config, show running config, show interfaces, show protocols. Okay, completion 95%. Change the IP address on the server 2001 DB8 AC80 10 AC80:10 prefix 64 default gateway FE80:1. Okay, this default gateway. Okay, close and now completion 100%. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.